I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. It took my shame, it took my pain. My Jesus gave me his name. And now I reign with him. All my days I'll sing his praise. Everywhere that I go, everything that I do, all I see is grace. Everywhere that I go, everything that I do, all I see is grace. Grace, grace, grace.
I see grace.
Grace, grace, grace.
All I see is grace.
Grace, great grace.
I see grace.
Grace, great grace.
All I see is grace.
Amazing grace, amazing grace is the story of my life. It's not by power, it's not by might, it's by the Spirit of the Lord. It's not by hard work, it's not by skills. Divine help is what I enjoy. I'm not afraid of tomorrow. I have grace, great grace. Everywhere that I go, everything that I do,
All I see is grace.
everywhere that I go, everything that I do,
All I see is grace.
grace, grace,
I see grace.
great grace,
All I see is grace.
great grace,
I see grace.
great grace.
All I see is grace.
The hand of Jehovah is at work in my life. The Spirit of Yahweh is at work in my heart. Everywhere that I go, everything that I do,
All I see is grace.
everywhere that I go, everything that I do, hey,
All I see is grace.
everywhere that I go,
I see grace.
everything that I do,
All I see is grace.
everywhere that I go,
I see grace.
hey, everything that I do,
All I see is grace.
I have help,
I see grace.
the help of God.
All I see is grace.
The grace of God is my advantage.
I see grace.
The grace of God is my
All
advantage.
I see is grace.
The weapons of our warfare are not
I
carnal.
see
They
grace.
are mighty. They are
All I
mighty.
see is
Through
grace.
God. Yeah, yeah.
I see grace.
Great
All
grace.
I see is grace.
Great grace. Great grace. Oh, great grace. All I see is grace. All I see is grace. The grace of our Lord Jesus, the love of the Father, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit abiding with us all the days of our lives and forever.
Welcome to another exciting time of word, worship, and praise, streaming live from the place of His presence, Bethel Christian Center, Abuja. BCC is a youth and young adult church of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and we are a church committed to propagating the gospel of Jesus Christ and also to impact our generation positively. I hope as you connect to us, you'll be richly blessed and your life will not remain the same again in Jesus' name. Stay tuned.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Promise Ivongbe. I'm the Medical Director of Blossom Vision Eye Clinic. You are welcome to the midweek service of Bethel Christian Center, Redeemed Christian Church of God. And this month is the theme for this month is Health is Wealth. So we've been focusing on the health of people. We train people and tell them what they need to know. So today we'll be talking about digital eye strain or computer visual syndrome. So are you at risk of this? So I'll be talking about computer visual syndrome. Computer visual syndrome is a general term that is used to describe a variety of vision-related symptoms that can be aggravated by regular use of computer. Maybe when somebody uses computer from 2 hours and above. So those symptoms that comes with it, that is what it's called computer visual syndrome. Computer visual syndrome affects us mentally and physically. It also impacts our productivity because when a person goes through computer visual syndrome, they don't function normally. They have so many symptoms and this affects productivity. What are some of the symptoms of computer visual syndrome? One of them is double vision. A person reports that they are seeing things double. Your objects become double, and this would be very, very discomforting. And then there will be temporary nearsightedness. So the person sees things that are closer to them and not things that are farther away temporarily for some time. And then the eyes become dry due to the fact that we'll talk about the reasons why the eyes will become dry as we go on. Person also complains of photophobia, which means there's decreased tolerance to light. They don't want to see anything that has light. Even the sun affects people. Other symptoms are headache. The person complains of headache, severe headache, maybe temporal, it may be the frontal headache, but the person complains of headache. Another thing is eye strain. You know, we heard people report of their eyes are straining them, or eye pain or eye ache. This is one of the symptoms of computer visual syndrome. Redness of the eyes is also another symptom. Watery, tearing, tears just start dropping out of the eyes. That's another symptom. Others also complain of neck pain, say the neck is paining them, or backache. This is also a symptom of computer visual syndrome. Do you have all these symptoms? Have you experienced them? If you have any of them, a combination of them, it means you have computer visual syndrome, and this lecture is for you. The symptoms, why are these people experiencing these symptoms? One is maybe due to poor lighting. Maybe the lighting in the computer they are using is poor, and then there may be glare on the computer screen. The light coming from the upper part of the room may be reflecting on the computer, which will cause glare on the screen, and the person will be struggling to see what's on the computer screen. This can also cause the symptoms that we've been talking about. Improper viewing position, we are going to talk about how the distance between the person and the computer, and how they should sit while using the computer in this lecture. So if there's improper viewing distance, it can also cause this computer visual syndrome. Then poor sitting position, we'll also discuss about it. And then maybe the person has refractive error, have eye problems, maybe they are farsighted, they are short-sighted, or they have astigmatism. This can also cause computer visual syndrome. So all these I listed now, or a combination of all of them, are the reasons why people have computer visual syndrome. Let's delve in further. A computer screen, the characters on a computer screen are not well defined. They are brightest in the middle while they diminish towards the edge. So for the eyes to maintain focus, it takes time and effort, and this is why people have eye strain. That's why the eyes are strained. Another thing is, when somebody is working on a computer, they are so focused and they are looking in one place. So the eye muscles does not have time to move. The eye muscles doesn't move the way it would normally do if you are talking to somebody or if you are doing any other thing. So this will lead to eye strain. The eyes will be burning and then the eyes will become tired. Other factors that can cause computer visual syndrome. We said before, when a person is using the computer, they are fixed in one position. And so their body is fixed, their face, their eyes are fixed, the muscles are not moving. Then as somebody is gazing on a system that is close to them, this will make the eyes to converge for a long period of time, and it causes fatigue or tiredness. The upper body remains steady or remains static in one place for a period of time, and so this also translates to the eyes because the eye muscles are not moving. These are some of the causes of computer visual syndrome. I've talked about the glare before, if you can see on our slide. I've talked about the glare. You can see a picture of it, of the reflection of the light on the computer, which causes glare on the screen. Another reason why people have computer visual syndrome, a normal person is supposed to blink 15 times per minute. That is the normal rate. But we found that when people work on their computers, it takes a longer, like a shorter period of time. It takes, the time they blink becomes shorter. So maybe like five times per minute while they are working on a computer screen. Let me explain again. A normal person is supposed to blink 15 times per minute. But for a computer user that has used it more than 2 hours a day, they reduce their blinking rate to 5 times per minute. So this makes the eyes dry, and then this makes the eyes watery and very painful. So we encourage people to always blink. So I'm just saying the reasons why people have computer visual syndrome. So who is at risk of computer visual syndrome? Basically, anybody that uses the computer more than 2 hours a day is at risk of computer visual syndrome. Let me not just limit it to computers. If you use your phone more than 2 hours a day, you are at risk of computer visual syndrome. You use your computer, your phone, any electronic gadget for more than 2 hours a day, that person is at risk of computer visual syndrome. Another risk factor again of computer visual syndrome, the environment plays a major role. The temperature, chemicals, ventilation, the AC units, the air coming out of it, and then the ergonomics, how we sit and use our computer. These things cause a risk factor for getting this computer visual syndrome. The reduced blinking rate, also a risk factor, like I said before. Let me explain something. When we are reading our books, if you are reading a book, your eyes comes down and you are reading a book, the opening of your eyes not so much, so your eyes doesn't get dry easily. But when you are using the computer, your eyes are wide open as you are looking at it, so more of the eyes are open and it becomes dry faster. And if a person doesn't blink, this will make the eye dry and then cause eye strain or eye pain and cause headache and all the other symptoms I've listed before. Who is also at risk? Females or women are more at risk of getting this computer visual syndrome than male. Even age plays a role. The older we get, the more reduced tear production is. So a person of 20 years produces more tears than somebody that is 40 or 50 years. And then women that are postmenopausal also don't produce tears the way the younger version of them produces it. So these are some of the risk factors. Another thing again, people that can actually get computer visual syndrome faster are people that have systemic diseases. People that have rheumatoid arthritis, people that have hypertension, diabetes, they are more at risk of getting computer visual syndrome. People that take medications, antihistamine, psychotropic drugs, antihypertensive, antidiuretics, or those drugs or diuretics, those drugs, people that take those drugs are at risk of getting computer visual syndrome. So now, what can be done to minimize computer visual syndrome? We have talked about the symptoms. We have talked about what it is, what computer visual syndrome is. We have talked about the symptoms. We have also talked about what causes those symptoms. So now we want to know what can be done to minimize it. There's no treatment for it really, but we can minimize this symptom because we can't tell everybody to stop using their computers or their phones for less than 2 hours. It's not possible. There are some people that their job actually requires them to use the computer for more than 2 hours. So how can we minimize these symptoms that we have been counting? The first thing is, if you suspect that you have computer visual syndrome, please visit your optometrist, visit your eye doctor. Let them run their tests that we will run to ascertain if the person has computer visual syndrome or not, and then know some therapies that we will give to the person. So please, if you suspect that you have computer visual syndrome, please see your optometrist. And then another thing again, blink often. We cannot emphasize that enough. Please blink often. As a computer user, if you work for 20 minutes on your computer, please blink for 20 seconds before going back to your computer. Or rather, let's make it very simple. Anytime you click your enter button or your space button, blink. It's a simple exercise. As you click your enter button, you blink. If you can make a conscious effort to blink like this, it will reduce all the symptoms of computer visual syndrome, and then there will be no need for therapy or drugs or any other thing that an eye doctor will give to you when you go to the hospital. So we're emphasizing it. Please blink often. For every 20 minutes you spend on your computer, please blink. Or anytime you hit your enter button, blink. Another thing again is adjust the height of your seat. So a computer is supposed to be 20 degrees below your eyesight. It's on the slide there. You can see the woman on the slide as she's sitting. Her computer is 20 degrees below her eyesight. If you can adjust your seat and adjust the computer in that way, it will also reduce the glare that comes from the overhead light that is coming on your screen. Another thing again, the distance between your screen and you should be 16 to 30 inches. This is just the appropriate distance that you should use. 16 to 30 inches away. You can also see it on our slide there. That is the appropriate distance that you should be from your screen so that you won't get computer visual syndrome. And then avoid sitting in front of an AC vent or the AC draft, because the cold air coming out from the AC will dry the tears on our eyes faster. So always avoid sitting in front of an air condition or facing the air draft while you are working on your computer. Reduce glare on the screen. There are some anti-glare coating that you can put in front of your computer. But if you can't readily get that, you can get a glasses that has anti-glare on it or has photochromic properties, or the latest one called the blue cut lenses. All these will help to protect your eyes from glare that is coming out from the computer or the rays that are coming out from the computer. And then take frequent breaks. If you work for some time, maybe you work for 30 minutes, you can leave your workstation and walk around, gist, talk to people for 5 minutes before you come back. Take break, rest. It's very, very, very important. And then we can take lubricating eye drops, which when you get to the hospital, the doctors will prescribe it for you. It's like artificial tears. So since the person doesn't blink and the tears is not enough, that's why we have all those symptoms that we talked about. Using artificial tears or lubricating eye drops on it will help to relieve the pains and the symptoms that come with computer visual syndrome. And then, let's talk about blue light and then digital eye strain. All our electronic gadgets, they bring off harmful blue light. They bring off high energy, short wavelength, blue and violet lights. So these rays affect the eyes in all ages, not just in adults. It affects everybody's eyes. This may lead to age-related macular degeneration and eventually lead to blindness. So that is why we are emphasizing on it. If you are using a digital, an electronic device, you are prone to computer visual syndrome, and you are prone to having blue lights being emitted to your eyes. These things we are saying now, computer visual syndrome is not just for adults. Even kids have their own. It also affects children. Statistics have shown that 83% of children use electronic device more than 3 hours a day. And in all this, 40% of parents believe their children don't use computers up to 3 hours. But it happens. Our children are always on their computers, their phones, the television. They are always watching the screen. So these things I counted can also manifest in children. So parents, please look out for your children. Are they being short-sighted, going very close to the TV every time? Are they scratching their eyes every time? Do they complain of headache? Do they tell you their eyes are tired or is paining them? These are symptoms of computer visual syndrome. And then for what we said 80% of children are experiencing burning vision or burning eyes, itching eyes, tired eyes. All these are because of their prolonged use on computers. So as a parent, we would advise you to probably reduce the number of time your child spends on the screen to 2 hours or less a day, if it's possible in our generation these days. But if, as a parent, you should try to do that to help to protect their eyes. So if you see on our screen here, there's a picture of how a person is supposed to sit while using the computer. So if you want to prevent computer visual syndrome, the first thing you do is check the height and position of the device. Is it 20 degrees below your eyesight? And are you sitting straight? You can notice I'm not sitting bent like this or even lying down. I'm sitting straight up. This is how a person using the computer for more than 2 hours should sit down. Because if you sit down lying or aching your back, after some time, you start having neck pains and back pains, and this will also have its effect on the eyes. So you check for glare. Make sure your computer is not bringing out glare, or your eyes are protected with anti-glare glasses or blue cut lenses. And then you reduce the amount of light in the room to match the light on your computer. And then we cannot stress this enough. Always blink. Immediately you hit the enter button, please blink. Let the hitting of the enter button remind you to blink. If there's nothing you take when you work for 20 minutes, you can look at something away or blink for 20 times before you come back to the computer, and then visit your eye doctor. Thank you very much. I hope we've been able to understand everything that we taught today, and I hope we have been blessed. Thank you.
To us. Our various account details are projected at the moment. Also, we would like to invite you to join us on any of our social media platforms. The various handles are also displayed at the moment. While I look forward to seeing you next time, stay safe, be safe, and God bless you. Thank you.